2015 was a very good gaming year for me. Throw in the fact that I graduated college, moved home, moved away, started a new job, and had a lot of travel for work. My PlayStation Vita became my best friend. So as we go through this list, you will see quite a few games referencing the PlayStation Vita. However, I expanded this list to all of the systems that I had been playing this last year, and I managed to throw together a top 10 list of games for 2015. Number 10. Starting off this list is Child of Light. This RPG-esque game was made by the same company that brought us games like Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. It felt as though it was their shot at trying to make an indie-style game with a AAA-style budget. While I did not get sucked into the lore as much as I could have, I appreciated the story and the artwork. The artwork itself is capable to be on this list. The transitions were smooth, the animations were fluid, the controls were intuitive, and the soundtrack was gorgeous. The battle system was also very clever. It mixed a free-for-all style with a turn-based RPG element, creating a timing-based battle system where you had to delay your enemy's turns while trying to strategize your own. It was a very refreshing change of pace. Number 9. What sort of list would this be if it didn't include a Persona game? Innocent Sin, while not my favorite game in the series, was definitely a step in the right direction. They took the founding elements from Persona 1 and made a very good sequel. Given the graphical limitations of its time, the game is very pretty with very tight corridors, very nice cutscenes that flowed well, the lore continued to build up, there were some old shadows that they mixed in with new ones, they built on the communication system. There was a Hitler reference, even Trish, Philemon, and Igor had made return trips into this game. Overall, it was a very good build-up on the original concept. The characters were very relatable, and the story overall was much more cohesive. Number 8. What can I say? I am a sucker for very pretty games. Unfinished Swan is no different. The basic storytelling premise is what drives it forward. While the formula doesn't change, it was very unique. You travel, you get exposition, you travel, you get exposition. Unfinished Swan mixed up the execution and made it a treat to go and find the next page, using their very unique mechanics. I've never seen another game where you are given one resource, ink, and you must go around discovering the story. You can place as little or as much on your canvas and make the world as messy or as clean as you would like. Then as more and more colors are introduced into your world, more and more mechanics are opened up to you, making it feel as though you are in complete control of this very linear story. Again, this is probably one of the games where the art alone would have helped make it on the list, but the story helped make it sink in and make it resonate with the viewer a long time after the game was over. Number 7. I'll be one of the first to admit, when it comes to Nintendo games, I have played very few of them, so getting my hands on Final Fantasy Rings of Fate was sort of my token Nintendo game for the year. It was the first game that I had played on a Nintendo DS, and the game worked quite well for the console. The story is, in my mind, your standard RPG. You have a leveling system, you have friends that go around and help you, you're in control of several elements, fire, earth, water, wind, you explore new areas, solve puzzles, kill bosses, basically the general Final Fantasy formula. Where this game mixed it up was in the real-time RPG action. Your entire team was fighting against enemies at the same time, and you had the ability to switch between characters to solve particular problems or to get out of a situation. While the story was pretty good, the characters were very cute and the soundtrack was awesome. It wasn't the best RPG that I'd ever played, but it mixed the formula up enough where it was memorable. Number 6. Again, I kind of missed the Assassin's Creed train. I had never played a game until I picked up Assassin's Creed Liberations for my Vita, and I have to say, it was pretty good. Now, I should clarify what pretty good is. I love the mechanics. I love the idea of getting new vantage points, sneaking behind people, and adding a third dimension to it. I love the idea of the costume changes to create new personas and each of them having their own reputation within the city. And I'll be honest, I enjoyed the glitches. The main protagonist, Aveline du Grand Prix had an excellent character arc that was very well fleshed out. For a first Assassin's Creed game, I definitely could have done worse. Now, what I was not thrilled with was the lack of a coherent plot. The story was fragmented, there was no clear allegiance to one side or the other, it was just go to this place, kill this person, or save this person, repeat. But the world of Nouvelle Orleans was fun to experience. Number 5. For those of you who have not played Don't Starve, go pick it up. It is the sort of game that Tim Burton would have created if he had managed to get a hold of Minecraft. It is a very dark atmosphere where you balance food, health, sanity around winter elements, around summer elements. Everything tries to kill you as you go around living off the land before you go and establish a settlement or a home. This is the game that makes you feel lonely. You have no companions. You have no friendly characters. It makes you think resourcefully. All your moves need to be calculated or you will be in a world of hurt, especially when the trees attack, or the hounds, or the pigs, or the buffalo, or the penguins. Basically anything can kill you if you are unprepared. I was a fan of this game when I played it on my computer, but when it's ported over to the Vita, I had to get a copy. Now it is my go-to game if I have a couple of hours to kill. The random generation always creates a new challenge, and every time you play it, you learn something new. Number 4. Anyone that knows me knows that I have a fascination with Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, so when I saw a game that orbited around the same concept, I was more or less obligated to get it, and it did not disappoint. While the story had absolutely nothing to do with the book, I can appreciate the artistic license that was taken. The style was entirely different. It was not a nonsensical sort of game. It was a school of hard knocks balance between what was going on in Alice's miserable life and how it was affecting her Wonderland after it had been thrown into utter pandemonium. I appreciated the fact that all the characters were there. You had Alice, the Cheshire Cat, the Mad Hatter, the Queen, the playing cards, and everything in between. Throw in a beautiful art style and it would make you feel as though you had fallen into Wonderland yourself. Add a wide variety of unique weapons and enough backstory so you understand why her life was miserable and you can understand how she ended up in a mental institution. Number 3. Persona 3. I don't even know where to begin. This was the game that I would come back from classes on Friday and I would play all day until Saturday morning. This game was my escape. I would leave my life and drop into the Persona 3 world. Overall, the character development was a little weaker than that of Persona 4, but I believe the story was better. It took on a much more serious and a much darker tone that I have not seen in the other Persona games. The Velvet Room had received an upgrade since Persona 2, but Igor and his assistant still stuck around. Between the social links and all the kinds of people from robots to animals to normal individuals, a powerful moving story balancing school life and exams and taking class trips, and that is even without even touching on Tartarus, where you could lose yourself for hours and not even notice it. Persona 3 was easily one of my favorite games of the year. Number 2. I know I probably missed the boat on this one, but this last year I managed to play Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto 5. The world was huge, it was fun, and it was immersive. The characters all had their own problems, and they caused more trouble, a lot more trouble than they were worth, but each of them felt relatable in one way or another. This was the sort of game that my family would sit in front of the television and see who could cause the most carnage without getting arrested or murdered, and then we would keep passing the controller around. There were many nights where we stayed up way too late, laughing until we were in tears, seeing what we could do in this world, earning it the number 2 spot on my list. Number 1. And my favorite game from 2015 was Persona 4 Dancing All Night. This rhythm-based Vita exclusive did very well with the ratings, but I enjoyed it for several reasons. Though the story lacked the typical snap of Persona, they brought back all of the kids from Persona 4, each of them bringing to light their personality quirks and witty dialogue. Even you, the main protagonist, had several speaking roles. Though the kids fall into the shadow world once more, and their only way out is to dance the shadows into enjoyment before moving on to the next stage, I found the story fairly repetitive after a while, with the same beautiful drawings taking place in each scene, but by far my favorite feature in this game is the free play section. Here, you can dabble with each of the characters' own songs, each reflective of their own style, from jazz to rock to electric. It is very impressive considering it brought back many Persona 4 tracks while blending in new and exciting changes. While the story may not have been top-notch, I have dropped countless hours going through the 4 difficulty modes, improving high scores, unlocking all the costumes, and just enjoying the music. That is why Persona 4 Dancing All Night is my favorite game from 2015.